Okay, so today we are going to continue with the errors that we started the last time. To the best of my knowledge, we dealt with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. The sixth one was the compensating error, I guess so. Right. So today we are continuing with the 7. Now the first 6 were the errors that do not affect. So you appreciate we saw error of principle, error of omission, and all those types of errors. Today's will be more about the errors that affect the agreement of the travel. So please pay attention. Feel free to ask questions when you have to or where you have to, and I will gladly respond. I think I saw a hand up. Austin, do you want to put up something before we continue?
I was about to say something, but since you said some of them, so I'll just hold on.
Yes. So I think we would schedule the discussion of the assignment to when all professors have submitted. In fact, today I'll try my possible best to mark all outstanding assignments. So pardon me, it's not easy.
But it's just a simple question.
It's a simple question, but if it's about the assignment, then
No, it's not about that.
okay. So let's hear you.
If they say maybe they mention maybe sales, but they don't mention the specific whether it is cash or back. Maybe that one you choose whether it is cash automatically or you just write cash book there, because most of the questions that's how they do it.
Okay, so you know from the beginning that where the specific medium of transaction, that is cash or check, is not given, the obvious choice is cash. Okay, so you get the point.
Yes, please.
If it is check, they will indicate. If they don't say check, then the obvious assumption is cash, that the transaction was on cash basis. And again, I think I hinted you about this. When you see sold goods to Kofi, right, and there's no mention of cash or check, sold goods to Kofi, then that means that's a credit sale, right? That is why the name of the debtor of customer has been given. But when you say sold goods, 5 million, please pay attention. So, of course, I don't want to confuse you. I said sold goods to Kofi, 5,000. This is a credit sale. But if you see sold goods, 5,000, that's a cash sale. You know, in both cases, there was no mention of credit or cash, right? But in the first one, you will see that sold goods to Kofi. So if there was no mention of whether they received the cash or check, then it means it was a credit sale. That's why the name of the customer or debtor is in there, right? So if the transaction was on cash or check basis and they give the name of the customer, they would have to add maybe received check or maybe paid cash or whatever. Okay, so sold goods to Kofi without any cash or check in the transaction means a credit sale. But if you see sold goods 5,000 cash or sold goods 5,000 without the mention of cash or check, this one is a cash sale because of course there is no name of a customer for you to assume that it was a credit sale. Okay. So Austin, that is for you. I hope you are comfortable now. Yeah. For Josephine, you are welcome. I'm sure Josephine is also hit by this, light issue. Anyways, let's continue. But I hope you are fine, Josephine.
Yes, please.
Okay, that's good to hear. So we are continuing. Error number 7, please. Who will read error number 7 for me, and then we'll do the analysis like we did the last time, and then pass the journal entries. So, Austin, since you started with a question, I think you read this one for me.
Okay, example 7. Payment of wages 900 Ghana cedis was debited to wages account but no entry was made in the bank or cash account.
Okay, so let's think through. Payment of wages 900 was debited to wages account, but no entry was made in the bank or cash account. Now, this is a straightforward thing, right? So what error is this? Yes, let me see those who have their hands up. I'm not calling you. I'm not calling you. Rashid, I want to believe you have watched the videos now and it's very comfortable with the errors. Oh, only 2 people. This one is straightforward though. Professor Augustine Akoli. What type of error is this? Payment of wages 900 was debited to wages, but no entry was made in the bank or cash account.
Sir, please, single entry.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Single entry, because as you reckon, the transaction was recorded in wages account, but no entry was made in the other account, which is either the bank or cash, right? So that's single entry. And as we saw the last time, single entry errors are errors where the double entry is not completed or only one side of the double entry was, passed. Okay. So how would we correct this? It's very simple. If they paid wages and they have only debited wages account, the corresponding entry will be in the bank or cash account. Here, the question gave us bank or cash, so we'd also use same narration, right? So bank or cash account. What are we supposed to do there? They didn't do that entry. So what are we supposed to do? We have to go and do that entry. So what will we do to the bank or cash account? Would we credit or debit? Yes. Austin.
Sir, please, we will credit the bank or cash account and debit the
Okay.
suspense account.
Oh, you this guy. Why are you doing that? Why are you bringing suspense to come and confuse that? Relax. Okay, so we would credit the bank or cash account. You realize that you get to a point where you don't know which other account to pass the corresponding entry, right? But if you have done the analysis, you are aware that single entry errors affect the trial balance, and for that matter, suspense will be affected. So in correcting it, definitely suspense will come in. Okay, so we are going to credit bank or cash account, but we have to debit suspense account because this is a single entry error and it will affect the trial balance. So look at what is going to happen. Error number 7. The account to be debited comes first. So we have seen that you debit suspense account. Okay. And then we credit the bank or the amount is 900. So what will be the narration? Narration, let me test my professor small. Because yes, last week we saw lots of the narration. What will be the narration for this one? Yes, go ahead, Portia.
Error of single entry now corrected.
Thank you very much. Error of single entry now corrected. So when you know the type of error, it makes your narration very brief and simple. But for professors who might be struggling, you can repeat the transaction there. So you could say payment of wages not recorded in the bank or cash account. Now corrected. Okay. But to be so professional of you if you indicate the type of error. Right. Okay, so that's number 7. So as a summary for you, when you read the error, do the analysis. If it's a single entry, how would you determine it? You see that one side of the transaction was not recorded. So some of the statement you see something like was only recorded, only recorded in the cash account, was only recorded in the sales account. Or sometimes they'll go straight ahead and tell you was not recorded in this account or was only posted to. So only, check for only, or where you can tell that one of the entries was not made, be it debit or credits, right? Okay, number 8. Prof. Josephine, you read number 8 for us, and then we'll continue.
Yes, please. Number 8, example. The total of the purchases journal for March was 8,450 cedis, but was incorrectly added as 9,100 cedis.
Okay, thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. So the total of purchases journal for March was 8,450, but was incorrectly added as 9,100. You see, this is where I tell my students that if your basis on this day books and double entry thing, if it is not so strong, you will struggle because then you get confused. What is purchases journal? But if you are aware of purchases journal, you can draw the purchase journal, right? So let me draw the purchase journal. You remember the purchase journal, dates, details, or particulars, and amount. Okay, so you remember what we use it for, to record credit sales. Now what happened? They are saying that the total, so you see that total amount that you get, which you give the narration, total credit purchases posted to purchases account in the general ledger. That's what they are referring to. They are telling us that it is supposed to be 8,450. But it was incorrectly added as what? 9,100. So what does it mean? What type of error is this? Oh, I want someone. Rashid, can you help us? Or Prof. Zoe? Prof. Zoe, do you have an idea as to what this is? The figure was supposed to be 8,450, but it was added, incorrectly added as 9,100. If you look at the errors that we discussed last week, which of them is best fit for this? Okay, so we are going to do this together. I'll mention the type of error, and if it's yes, you say yes. If it is no, no. So is this error of omission?
No.
Please, all of you.
No.
Yes. All of you on mute. I beg you on mute. So I'll do it together. Is this error of principle?
No.
No.
Thank you. Is this original entry?
No.
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 Okay. Is it a casting error?
Yes.
You're ready. The yes didn't come well.
Breakfast and go play. Hey, seeing someone secretly.
The yes didn't come well. Yeah, Rashid, you want to say something?
Say no.
Okay, but do you agree it's a casting error?
I'm confused.
Okay. If you are confused, it tells me one thing. You have not been able. Have you been able to watch all the videos fully?
No, I was able to watch lesson 1 and lesson 2, but then lesson 3 I wasn't able to watch it.
Then I'm sure the lesson 3 would have the errors that affect, right? The casting and single entry. But did you come across the casting and single entry? Casting errors?
No, sir.
Okay, then I'm sure you haven't watched that one. Then I'll pardon you, but try and watch it. Okay. So if this is a casting error, you remember we said casting errors, these are errors that occur when the account mistakenly overstates or understates a particular figure or amount, probably in the course of the additions. Okay. So you can see that clearly here that the total was supposed to fall 8,450, but it was incorrectly added. So as he was adding the figures, as he was casting the figures. So is this overcast or undercast? I think it's overcast there.
Overcast.
Yes, overcast.
Yes, please.
Thank you. Because the figure was supposed to be 8,450, but he cast it 9,100. So he has overstated the figure. What is the overstatement? How much?
Please, 656.
650. Okay. Yeah, Rashid, go ahead.
650.
650. Thank you. So it means that he mistakenly added 650. So overcast, right? So what do we do to correct this error? I told you that if it is a casting error, ask yourself, what has been cast wrongly? Okay, the error that we read, what has been cast? And we cannot tell that it is the purchases, the total of purchases journal that has been cast wrongly. And what does that total purchases, what balance does it have? What does it have a credit balance or a debit balance? So let me ask Prof. Zoe, purchases, does it have a debit balance or a credit balance? Hello, can you hear me? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So Prof. Zoe, purchases, does it have a debit balance or a credit balance?
Please, have.
Oh, I heard say it has, but I didn't hear that.
Please, it has to balance.
A debit balance. Thank you. A debit balance. Purchases would always have a debit balance. So what it means is that the accountant has overstated the debit. So if you want to correct it, would you debit or credit? Let me ask Rashid this question. So Rashid, we have been able to tell that purchases has a debit balance. So if it has been overstated and we want to correct it, would we debit it or will credit it?
We'll credit.
Thank you very much. We'll credit it. Yes. Thank you very much. We'll credit it. Continue your point.
Credit 600 and we credit 650.
Okay. And where would the corresponding debit be? Let me help you with that. Suspense account. Suspense account. Yeah. Thank you. So you see, for the overcast, I hinted you the last time that when you know the balance on what has been overstated, then you have to go the opposite. You pass an opposite entry. So purchases has a debit balance. So overstated, we'll credit it, right? So we'll credit purchases and we'll debit suspense. Why? Because these casting errors also affect the trial balance and for that matter, suspense. So So how much? 650, 650. Then you put your narration there. This is what an overcast. You have to be specific with the particular type of casting error, right? So this is an overcast. So overcast error now corrected. You can also say overcast of purchases now corrected, whichever way. Okay. The professors, after going through error 7 and 8, you should be able to deal with all single entry and all casting errors. Okay. Let's go to number 9. The way I've taken my time, if you don't understand this thing, I have to come to your house and eat your food. Number 9, who is going to read? Rashid, read number 9 for us.
The balance on furniture account is the balance on furniture account 6,500 was not included when extracting the trial balance.
Okay. So you remember I hinted you about this error where when you are preparing your trial balance, you omitted an account balance. And that is clearly seen here that the balance on furniture was not included when extracting the trial balance. Okay, so let's do some analysis so that you can understand. If you are drawing your trial balance, right, you have the debit column and the credit column, isn't it? So they are saying that the furniture. So my dear professors, where would you have posted furniture in your trial balance? Furniture. Would you put it at the debit column or credit column? Yes, Austin.
Debit column.
Good. So what they are telling us is that they forgot to post it there. So there's an omission of an account balance from the trial balance. Okay. So how would you correct it? And I told you, I don't want to see anything like debit the trial balance or credit the trial balance. No, you cannot debit the trial balance or credit the trial balance. You only have to debit or credit the particular item that was what omitted. So what was omitted here? Furniture. And we all know furniture should be debited, isn't it? Or it has a debit balance, or it would have been put at the debit column. So in your journal, this is how you are going to correct it. Error number 9. You are supposed to debit furniture, right? And credit who? Suspense. Because you know this error would affect the trial balance. If you don't send one of the items, if you don't send their balances to the trial balance, it will affect the agreement of the trial balance. This one, you know that even in classroom, when you are preparing your trial balance and you forget to send one of the account balances, your trial balance will disagree. So here we are going to debit furniture, and then we'll credit to suspense. So the amount is 6,500. So after this error, you should be able to correct all omissions from the trial balance. If you see that they did not send a particular account balance into the trial balance, this is what you do, right? Narration. So this is omission of furniture account balance now corrected. Okay, very simple. Any question on that?
Sir,
Yes, Prof.
Sir, please, can we see error of partial reversal of entry?
Can we say this is an error of partial reversal of entry?
Yes.
No, this is an omission from the trial balance, right? The accountant forgot to post a particular partial reversal will be where, okay,
rather, sorry, partial omission, rather.
Partial omission.
Yes.
Partial omission. This was not a partial omission. Oh, okay. I get a point that, for example, let's say if it was purchase furniture with cash, and then in constructing the trial balance, they took the cash balance there, but they forgot. So partial omission. Yeah, but my dear, don't worry yourself with English. The English here is that they omitted it from the trial balance. That's all that you should be interested in, right?
Okay.
So we'll do the debate about whether it's a partial omission in the trial balance or otherwise to see. Okay. Any other question? Okay. Error number 10. Number 10, Professor Zoe. Number 10 is yours. Read it to us. I think of Zoe is, I don't know if network or something. Okay, let me read number 10 on behalf of Zoe. Return inwards account has a debit balance of 320, but it was entered on the credit column of the trial balance. I'm reading this again. Return inwards. We all know return inwards, and we know the balance it has. It was entered on the credit column of the trial balance. Don't you understand this error? You should understand, because it says return inwards, which has a debit balance of 320, was entered on the credit column. Let me demonstrate it in the trial balance here. So the accountant, I don't know why he would do that, but return inwards. So this was the trial balance, return inwards. Okay. We all know that it has a debit balance, 320. So it's supposed to be at the debit. But this accountant, when to put it, or put it at the credit. So are you seeing the error? So how do we get rid of this 320 and bring it to the debit side? Professors, let me hear you. This one, I want Rashid to attempt this one. Prof. Rashid. Then maybe Josephine will assist him if he's not getting. Prof. Rashid. Rashid, are you thinking through?
Yes, sir.
But you followed the error, right? As I explained, you followed it, right? The return inwards is supposed to be at the debit, 320. But this accountant has gone to put it at the credit side. So how do we correct it so that the 320 will come to its better place? So I'm listening.
The accountant will debit double of that amount.
Okay, so double of that amount will be what? Is it 640? Yes, 640. So he will debit 640 to where?
To the return inwards.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Rashid. Thank you very much. That's a good analysis. Thank you. Merci beaucoup. Au revoir. Hey, sorry, it's not au revoir. It's not the end of the class. So you see, we would have to put 640 here, okay? Some people will want to go 320 first and 320 second, but I told you that is, you wasting your time. So add the two figures together, 640, and debit return inwards. If again, please don't be tempted to say debit the trial balance. No. Look at the item that was involved, return inwards. So we'll debit return inwards 640, and the corresponding credit will go to where? Suspense. As simple as. Because again, there's an error that is affecting the trial balance. So we will debit return inwards, then we'll credit suspense. 640, 640. What narration would you give here? This is posting to the wrong side of the trial balance. Now corrected. Or you can also go return inwards posted to credit side of trial balance. Now corrected. Okay. Returning was posted to the credit side of the trial balance. Now corrected. Very simple. Right. Okay. Any question on this one before we go to number 11? So you see that if you take your time and you analyze the errors, it's not really difficult. Okay. If you have to draw the trial balance for you to understand the error, draw it. If you have to draw an account to show and understand the error, draw it. It wouldn't take anything away from you. Okay. Number 11. I think I'll quickly run through the two. So total return inwards journal of 1,800 was posted to the debit side of return outwards instead of return inwards. Wow. Let's read the error again. Total of return inwards journal 1,800 Ghana cedi was posted to the debit side of the return outwards account instead of return inwards. This error is interesting. So you can only fully follow through for you to understand. So let me see what happened. So you see again, it's taking us to the day books, right? Specifically the return inwards. So we had a return inwards book. Return inwards. So let's assume that the total, right? The total was 1,800, which means total returning was 1,800. So if you are posting this, you all know that you open a return inwards account and you debit it. But what happened? He has opened return outwards. Okay, return outwards. And has debited return outwards with 1,800. Please, what type of error is this? Follow it carefully. Follow it carefully. The person who will get it, I think I owe you some 20 cedis worth of bundle. Total return inwards. It was posted to return outwards, but it was debited. Yes, Austin.
Say, I'll try. An entry in the books of original entry has been recorded at the right side of the wrong account.
At the right side of the wrong account. Okay, please, whoever will attempt and will get it wrong, you would also owe me bundle. I hope that is fair. So Austin, I'm not buying your answer. So you owe me bundle. Anyway, that's just by the way. But I want to hear all of you on this one. Total return inwards, okay, which should have been debited to return inwards account, has been put in return outwards account. But in return outwards, they debited it. What error is this? Yes, Portia.
Sir, please, error of principle.
Error of principle. Error of principle. Interesting. Austin, do you agree? Josephine, do you agree? Augustine, I'll call it. Do you agree? Josephine, do you agree?
No, please.
So tell us your version.
Is error of commission.
Error of commission. Commission. Wow. I love it when I have diverse opinions and we have to debate it out. Error of commission. Portia wants to come again. Yes, Portia.
Sir, please, it's principle. Commission deals with personal accounts.
People are not giving us the technical vibes. And I'm happy. I'm a happy man. Okay, so you see, because I brought it as part of the errors that affect the trial balance, Austin was, should I say, was deceived to believe that it can never be an error that does not affect the trial balance. But Portia and Josephine, thought otherwise. They were not deceived, but technically, we cannot say error of commission because error of commission deals with personal accounts, right? So the thing was recorded in the wrong person's account due to name similarities. But return inwards and return outwards are not persons. So we now check it out with the principle, where error of principle says that you record or you put the right entry, but in the wrong class of account. Return inwards and return outwards are two different types of account, right? Return inwards looks at it's a counter sales account. It's a counter revenue account. You sell goods and then people return it or customers return it to you, right? And then return outwards is a counter purchases account. So there are two different classes of account. So Prof. Josephine, because they are not persons, that is why commission did not fit. But I think your argument was on the fact that they all had similar name. Return inwards, return outwards, return inwards, right? But because they are not persons, that's why commission did not come in there. Prof. Josephine, I hope you appreciate that.
Yes, please.
Thank you very much. But that was a good analysis you did there, that there seemed to be some name similarities, but you didn't add the person. Okay. So yes, it's an error of principle. Return inwards is not supposed to be in return outwards account. No, because these are two different types of account or two different classes of account. So what do we have to do to correct it? We'll first have to remove it from return outwards. And we can only remove from return outwards by crediting return outwards to cancel it because it was debited in return outwards. So credit return outwards to cancel it, and now we debit what? Return inwards. So you see that this error will not affect the trial balance. And for that matter, suspense will not come in here because you debit return inwards and the corresponding credit will come to return outwards. So I put a fast one on you. I just wanted to test if you could tell, because some people were swayed that, oh, we are looking at only errors that affect the trial balance. So Austin, I hope that was your basis for suggesting the Okay, that is just by the way. But I'm happy when learning takes place in this form, right? So now people can synthesize and say, okay, that's why we chose this, that's why we chose this. So it's all great. That's why I appreciate all forms of responses. Okay? Because you see, let me be frank with you. When you brought in the commission and the principal, I was like, wow. So my professors are really, so why commission and why principal? And you were able to convince me. Josephine was on the line of they are similar in names, right? But then Portia gave us the version of yes, they are similar in names, but these are not persons, so we cannot use commission. We can use what principal. I think I'll test my students in this regard. So Augustine, you have a free question for your next semester exams, as well as Austin. Okay, let's look at number 12. Please, any question? Oh, let me put in the journal entry. So the journal entry will be, will debit return in what? And then we'll credit return outwards. So the value is 1,800, 1,800. The narration will be an error of principle. Now correct. Then we'll go to 12. 12. Goods purchased on credit from Kojo 2,400 was debited to Page's account as 2,200 and credited to Kojo's account as 2,400. What an error. So there was goods purchased on credit from Kojo. So if you purchase goods from Kojo on credits, I think we all know we'll debit purchases and we'll credit Kojo, right? But what happened? It says it was debited to purchase account as 2,200 and credited to Kojo's account 2,400. So if we do the analysis, the error is happening in one of the account, which is purchases account, right? Okay. So they posted 2,400 correctly to Kojo and they did the credits all right. Because when you purchase on credit from Kojo, you credit Kojo and you debit purchase. So as for the debit and credit, it was correct. The amount in Kojo's account was correct. It's only the amount in purchase account which has been understated by 200. So there is an undercast in the purchase account. True or false? True. An undercast in the purchase account. Because the figure is supposed to be 2,400. He only debited 2,200. So there's an undercast of purchase account. If you disagree with me, bring it on. Any disagreement? Okay. So if purchase account has been undercast, you remember, so there's a casting error, right? Purchase account has been undercast by 200. So what we do is, what has been undercast? Purchases. What balance does it have? Debit. So to correct it, you debit purchase account, and then you credit suspense. So the undercast is only 200. Yes, for Portia, let's say.
Sir, please. So, this is a question.
Okay.
The error was in purchases account, and since that debit balance, is it compulsory to know, or is it a must that we're supposed to debit it? Because if we debit it, the actual amount for it will be gotten back.
Okay, so yes, to answer your question, let me demonstrate what has happened in this case. So what has happened is that in the purchases, right, In the purchase account, they were supposed to debit with 2,400. What have they done? They have only debited with 2,200. So if you want to correct it, what will you do? You would only debit 200, right, to correct it. So as you debit 200, it goes to add up to the 2,200, okay, to give the original correct figure of 2,001. Yes, go ahead. Listen.
So if maybe it was an overcast, that's when we do the vice versa by crediting the
Exactly,
difference.
exactly,
Okay.
exactly. Right. So if it's an overcast, then purchase has a debit balance. So if it was overcast, then to correct it, we have to credit. Okay, because we want to reduce the overstatement. Okay. Now let me tell you something here. In some books, you could see this to be an error of transposition. Now, in teaching correction of error, sometimes if you're not careful, you confuse your students, especially with this transposition error and error of original entry. So what is transposition error? Please listen carefully. Transposition error is any error that has to deal with, the original figure not being used, okay, to do the double entry because of the transposition of the figures, as in the position of the figures has been changed. So 2,400 has become 4,200. So transposition figures, you always see the figures being transposed, as in maybe the 1,000th figure has become the 100th or whatsoever, right? I think you appreciate what I'm saying, like 5,420. Okay, then you see it being written as 4,520. This is an error of transposition. Okay, but then it depends on the nature of the transposition or what the transposed figure has been used for you to tell whether it is an error of original entry. So anytime you see that a figure has been transposed, ask yourself, was that transposed figure used to do both the debit and credit? If that is the case, then you can say it's an error of what? Original entry. Okay. But if the transposed figure was only used in one of the accounts, okay, then you can say it is an error of transposition. In fact, error of transposition really affects the trial balance. Okay, but an error of transposition becomes an error of original entry if the transposed figure was used to do both the debit and credit. That's something I wanted to put across, okay? But most of the transposition errors, okay, that is if it's affecting the trial balance, will lead to either an undercast or an overcast. So as I'm saying this, I'm also recommending to you that, well, you can check if it has led to an undercast or an overcast, then you can apply the casting error to get your corrections done without any stress. Okay. Now in this figure, or in this error, 2,400, I didn't talk about transposition because you are not seeing any transposed figures here, right? But let's say it was recorded in purchase account as 4,200, then you can confidently say that there's a transposition error. Okay. Even though it will lead to an overcast, because if it's 2,400 and you have recorded 4,200, it means you have overstated it. But in writing the narration, it will be better for you to use error of transposition, okay, rather than an overcast, because this is a transposition error. They have changed the figures, even though it's leading to an overcast. We prefer you use the error of transposition. But where you don't see the transposition, then you can go straight into casting, either overcast or undercast. Okay. I hope I haven't confused you. If I have, please forget all that I've said. If you are comfortable with how we corrected the error, that's fine. Yes, any questions? Yes, Austin.
Sir, please, my question is not about what you just did right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the errors that do not affect the agreement of the trial balance. Um, you see, those errors don't show or appear in the trial balance, like don't create any difference. So first, the question I ask first, how will you know? And the second question that I also asked is that, like in real life, and the second question too is that, does it have any long-term effects? Maybe if it goes undetected and then maybe used to do the final account and stuff, does it have any effect? Because I saw a question like that and they were asking like to state an effect of overstating profit. I don't know, they were saying something like that. So I'm just asking, does it have any effect? Maybe um an error of omission or principle, then you didn't detect it and it was not corrected. Does it have any effect in the final account? That's my
Definitely,
question.
definitely. All the errors that we are looking at would affect not only your profit or your income. It can even affect the values of your assets, the values of your liabilities, the values of your capital. So the errors that we are looking at can affect anything. Okay. So if you look at the effect of errors, on profit is one of them. On the values of your asset is another, as well as the values of your liability. But most of the time, the focus is on the profit, making it look like errors only affect the profit. No, it affects even your asset balances. Because imagine if you bought a furniture and you didn't record it, it's going to affect your furniture account balance, right? Your assets. So the errors will affect anything. And like you put it, in real life, the errors that do not affect the trial balance, they are very, very difficult to deal with because you cannot easily identify them. And sometimes you may need auditing, right? And sometimes even the first phase of auditing is not able to detect. You have to do forensic auditing before you can tell that, hey, you didn't record this transaction or you have done a swap in account. But whichever way, they are able to determine, okay, and pass the entries. That's why sometimes an error might occur in the year 2022, but it will be corrected in the year 2026. In real life, it does happen. Okay. Sometimes it's auditing that brings out some of these issues. But in real life too, especially when cash or check is involved, then it becomes easier to know because you would appreciate that, well, you see the accountant, some accountant. That's why when they do the investigation and they see that it was a genuine mistake, because some accountant intentionally manipulates the figures. Because, you know, if we bought a furniture with, let's say, cash of 20,000 and I don't record both the cash and my trial balance will still agree. So if you don't have a serious auditor who will do a better check to know that we started with this cash balance, how come the cash has reduced but there's no entry in the books to reflect it? And that's where the accountant begins to do creative accounting. Okay, but please, none of you here should be engaged in creative accounting, because if they catch you, please, your career in accounting is doomed. Okay, especially when you charter and you become a professional accountant, be very careful. Okay, don't let people deceive you into doing creative accounting and manipulating figures, because the association can punish you. Some people are paying you fines, others licenses have been revoked for like 5 years, 10 years. So there are consequences. So make sure that even if you make a mistake, it's a genuine one. But Austin, yes, in real life, it happens, and sometimes difficult to detect, but some way, somehow, it will be detected. Okay. Any other question? Okay, so professors, your facilitator, Mr. Ebenezer Omo, have been able to at least discuss 12 good errors. And each of these errors is a sample of any error you meet at this level to correct. So I'm begging you, if you miss anything, go and watch the video. I beg, watch the video and understand this one, because even in bank reconciliation statements, preparations, some errors are there you have to correct. There are sometimes even errors in trading account. So watch out, okay? Treat this topic very seriously. So I think we are 7 minutes before time. Yeah, we only have 7 minutes. If there are no questions, I'll wrap up. And our next meeting, which will be the Thursday, right? We'll start solving past questions. Now we have dealt with all the errors, so we'll start solving past questions, and then improve on getting so familiar with most of the errors. Okay, but trust me, when we start solving past questions, you see that it's either a casting error or an error of omission, or an error of principle whatsoever. So if you haven't grasped the concept of these things, I beg you, go and watch the video. And you can put any question on the page or even directly to me. I would answer you. Okay. So any suggestion, any addition, subtraction from professors? No. Okay. On that note, thank you very much. Those who owe me assignment, please go and do the needful. Zoe, Bridget went off. I don't know if her lights are gone. But like I hinted, if it becomes the case that because of light out, I cannot meet you for the live class, I'll try and do a recorded version of the class. But if as a class, we can also agree to meet live any of the days beyond our meeting days, I think it's something I'm willing to agree to, so that if the weekends you people are free and then you want to engage me, just let me know. Okay. So let's call it a day. Thank you very much. Do enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you on Thursday. Bye-bye.
I see.
Okay, Josephine.